And now they've got a little sign that says, Jeep for sale. Jeep for sale, cheap. Cheap means it doesn't cost you much money. Okay. We start the 7 Chinese brothers.
I need to read that one kind of fast.
Yep, it's sort of long. All right, we start on the page of the beautiful hillside. Once upon a time, when Xing Shang Hong was emperor of all of China, 7 remarkable brothers lived together on a beautiful hillside. They walked alike, they talked alike, they even looked so much alike that it was hard to tell one brother from the brother next to him. All the same, each brother had something special about him. Every brother had one amazing power that was all his own. First brother's amazing ears could hear a fly sneeze from 100 miles away. Then second brother's amazing eyes could look right across the 100 miles and see the fly sitting on the Great Wall of China, sneezing and feeling very sorry for itself. And third brother was a man of unusual strength. He could walk across China in a straight line, lifting up any mountains that got in his way and putting them carefully back behind him.
Which is who?
Huh?
Which is that one?
Yeah. Or maybe this one. It says walking. He looks like he's walking. And the fourth brother was strong, for his bones were made of iron that wouldn't break or buckle or bend. And fifth brother had legs that could grow as tall and thick as tree trunks, while sixth brother never got too hot, no matter how hard he worked under the summer sun. As for seventh brother, he was the baby of the family, and all of his 6 older brothers tried to keep him smiling and happy, for he was their youngest brother, and when he was unhappy he wept great, big, warm, salt tears. Each tear was large enough to drown an entire village. The 7 brothers lived very happily together. The 7th brother never once had anything to cry about. But one day, as they worked on their hillside, first brother lifted his head with his amazing ears on either side of it and said, "I can hear something moaning and groaning 100 miles away, but the Great Wall of China, by the Great Wall of China. Second brother, take a look and tell me what all the trouble is about." Second brother turned his far-seeing eyes toward the Great Wall. "Ah, he said, "there is an enormous hole in the Great Wall of China. I see 100 poor men working day and night and day, and they look so tired and weak. Perhaps they are not allowed to sleep or eat until the hole in the Great Wall of China is repaired." "Ah, I can hear it," cried seventh brother, who was always hungry himself. He looked as if he might begin to cry in sympathy with the poor and hard-working men. "Don't cry," said third brother quietly and quickly. "I'll go and help them." And off he went as quickly as he could and got there in half a minute less than no time. He set to work at once, tossing great stones from one hand to the other as if they were feathers, and by the time the darkness came, the hole was completely filled, and third brother lay down to take a nap. But when the emperor heard that a single man had repaired the hole in one afternoon, he was not at all grateful. Indeed, he looked very worried. "A man as powerful as that is more trouble than he's worth," thought the emperor to himself. "Strong men can be very useful to an emperor, but this one is too strong. One army may not be enough to catch him. I had better send 2 armies. When third brother woke up from his nap, he found himself surrounded by 2 armies. By the command of the celestial emperor, whose face is more dazzling than the rising sun, you are to be executed in the morning," proclaimed the general of the 2 armies. "Take the prisoner to the palace of the emperor," they ordered. And when he heard this, third brother burst into tears. 100 miles away, on his beautiful hillside, third brother heard first brother crying. "Third brother must be in trouble," he exclaimed. Second brother looked as far into the distance and said, "Ah, yeah, third brother has been taken to the palace. He is surrounded by 2 armies, and they're going to execute him in the morning. No wonder he's crying." "Don't worry," cried fourth brother, who was very strong, who saw that seventh brother was about to cry too. "I will change places with him, and the celestial emperor, whose face is more dazzling than the rising sun, can try cutting off my head as many times as he likes. Perhaps that will make him feel better." And off he went as quickly as he could, and got there in half a minute less than no time. He sneaked in between the 2 armies to third brother, who was wide awake and waiting for him. So third brother went home, and fourth brother took his place. See, the one is coming in and the other is going out. It's very quick and slick, huh? All the next day, the officers of the 2 armies tried over and over and over to take the head of the fourth brother off. But sword after sword bent and broke on the bones of iron. In the end, they were forced to confess to the mighty emperor, whose whisper was like the rumble of thunder, that they simply could not behead the prisoner. "A man with bones of iron," roared the mighty emperor. "A man with bones of iron," roared the mighty emperor. "Drown him in the deep sea tomorrow." When fourth brother heard that he was to be drowned, he became very upset. "Bones of iron won't bend or buckle or break, but they will sink," he thought to himself, and he burst into tears. 100 miles away, on the beautiful hillside, first brother heard fourth brother begin to cry. "Fourth brother is crying," he said to second brother. "Look into the distance far beyond the hills." And this brother said, "Ah, yeah, tomorrow morning they are going to drown fourth brother. No wonder he's crying." "Don't worry," fifth brother interrupted. "I will change places with him. The mighty emperor, whose whisper is like the rumble of thunder, can try to drown me as many times as he likes, and perhaps it'll make him feel better." Off he went as quickly as he could, and got there in half a minute less than no time. He tiptoed past the guards to the fourth brother, who was awake and waiting for him, and swiftly they switched places. Can you see them? One's going one way, and one's going the other. They always show how they switch places. And the fourth brother went home. All the next day, the soldiers of the 2 armies tried to drown the fifth brother. They threw him into the deep sea, but his legs grew so quickly that the water only came to his knees. Then they tried to throw him into the deeper water, but the deep water only just reached as far as his waist. Finally, they threw him into the deepest part of the sea, but even the deepest part of the sea only came up to his neck.
Look.
Look how long he goes, clear down to the bottom.
My dad wouldn't be that long.
Oh, I don't know. This is a very special family with special gifts. The waves broke under his chin. "Ah," said the fifth brother, smiling happily, "how lovely and cool is the deepest of all the sea waters." "He is more dangerous than I imagined," muttered the splendid emperor, whose merest glance was like the flash of lightning. "He won't drown, but he might burn. Into the fire with him tomorrow morning," he commanded. When he was told his fate, fifth brother burst into tears. And far away on the beautiful hillside, first brother heard fifth brother's cries. Second brother looked across the 100 miles to the Great Wall of China. "Ah, yeah," he cried. "Tomorrow morning they are going to burn fifth brother alive. No wonder he's crying." "Don't worry," said sixth brother, afraid that seventh brother might begin to cry. "I will take his place. The splendid emperor, whose merest glance is like the flash of lightning, can bake me all day if he likes. And he said that with a shiver. Perhaps it will make him feel better. Off he went as quickly as he could to get there in half a minute, less than no time. He tiptoed in between two armies, and he found Fifth Brother, who was awake and waiting for him. So Fifth Brother went home, and Sixth Brother took his place. The next day the two armies ran backwards and forwards, bringing kindling wood and brushwood and driftwood and bundles of dry grass. They built such a big fire that the smoke from it drifted from one end of China to the other, but the Sixth Brother never ever felt too hot. Baking in the heat of the blaze, he sighed with happiness. "How kind of the noble emperor to let me warm myself at his very own fire," he cried. The noble emperor, whose slightest frown made the land shake like an earthquake, was furious. "Send for the royal archers," he ordered. "In the morning we will shoot this man full of arrows." Sixth Brother burst into tears. Over the beautiful hillside, First Brother heard Sixth Brother crying. "Second Brother," he said, "what do you see?" "Ah, said the Second Brother. "Tomorrow morning they're going to shoot Sixth Brother full of arrows." The brothers looked at each other. "There is nothing for it," said First Brother. "We cannot leave Sixth Brother to die." "We will all go to the noble emperor, whose slightest frown makes the land shake like an earthquake, and he can shoot arrows through all of us. At least we will all be together." The brothers started on their journey to the palace, but the poor Seventh Brother was so upset that he couldn't help crying just a little bit. His first tear was as big as the lake and as long as a river in China, and it rolled in a single drop. And this second tear was as big as the second longest river, and both tears were as salty as the sea. A great green ocean of salt water swept down the road ahead of the brothers. It swept on for 100 miles.
They're swimming.
Look at that. Seventh Brother's first tear swept away one army in the north. The second one swept away the other army in the south.
They're all going, but they're never going to get past the tear.
I don't think so. Look at that water. As for the emperor, he was tossed so high and so far that he is still trying to get back to his palace. That's how far away he went. That's pretty far. Seventh Brother's flood of tears swept over the Great Wall of China and flowed all the way into the Yellow Sea and all the way back again in half a minute, less than no time. Sixth Brother was free. He hurried back up the road while his 6 wonderful brothers hurried down the road. They were all reunited at the Great Wall. "Fish!" cried the fifth brother. The wave had washed hundreds of fish ashore. There they were, flipping and flopping and piled all the way up to his knees. "Wood!" cried the third brother, gathering from the forest to start a fire. Fourth brother snapped his fingers, and with his iron thumb, the spark leaped out and set afire. "Fire!" he cried, laughing. "Oh, I am so hungry," said the seventh brother. "Now that we are all together again, we can have dinner and forget about our troubles. I promise never to cry again, unless it's absolutely a must." So the 7 Chinese brothers set themselves down around the warm fire, feasted on delicious fried fish, for after such a worrying week, they were all very, very hungry. The end. Is that a good one?
Every one had 2-3 fishes.
At least.